This is Whipping It Out with Anthony Cumia on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, here's Anthony Cumia.
Hey, it's Anthony Cumia, and we're whipping it out. Yes, whipping out free speech. Welcome back. I want to talk a little bit today about these Democrat-run cities. They got Democrat mayors. Some of the states got Democrat governors. And what are we seeing? Excuse me. We're seeing them fighting tooth and nail against Donald Trump sending in some type of semblance of civility. How about the National Guard? Maybe working with local law enforcement so they could actually do their jobs as opposed to what these mayors have them doing, which is, I don't know what. Of course, Mayor Johnson comes up in Chicago, Mayor Bass in Los Angeles, all these Democrats that are in charge of cities that are just rampant with violent crime. Oh, they say it's going down. It's going down. It's going down. They fudge the numbers. I've known so many cops over the course of the years, and they've been directly involved with this. The upper echelon tells them, well, don't make it an assault. Make it a violation, disturbing the peace. And that way their numbers go down, and when they submit the numbers, the bosses look good. Wow, you really got crime down. Meanwhile, they just changed the name of assault to some kind of other thing, some misdemeanor charge instead of a felony assault charge. So crime's not really going down. And we know this. Here's my crime statistic machine. You could look up anything. You could see the videos, the horrific crimes that are happening all over the country, mostly in these blue cities. And what do they want to do about it? Well, we can take care of it. We have policies and we have programs and we need federal money to keep doing this. And then you look and go, they're not solving anything. Nothing's been solved. They're still piling up bodies every week. And again, like I said, just fighting every step of the way. Having Trump send in the National Guard and work with local law enforcement to really do something about it. Do you know Mayor Johnson today in Chicago? I saw an interview with him. He was yelling at a podium, of course. And he said that incarceration, jails, and law enforcement are a sickness. Yeah, a sickness. So how do you feel if you're a Chicago police officer and your boss, the mayor, calls you a sickness? I don't think that's good for morale. I don't think it's a real morale booster. And what does that say about the rest of the people in his administration? When you make arrests, what does that say? Do you think that person's going to be incarcerated, put in jail? That's all part of this sickness. He's got these grand plans to fight the violent crime going on in Chicago, but unfortunately, no one's privy to them. And he hasn't put any in place, apparently. He got rid of ShotSpotter. If you don't know what that is, it's the microphones that are placed around the city of Chicago. And when a gunshot is fired, it knows exactly where. It can pinpoint exactly where that gunshot came from. So before a person has to make a call, if they ever make a call at all, the cops know to go to that scene. And they have caught people in the middle of violent crimes through ShotSpotter. And what did he do? He got rid of that program. Is that one of the programs that are a sickness? What did he replace it with? Midnight basketball? Some type of social worker program to hug the kids? And then they go out, 13, 14 years old, and carjack a car and perhaps kill somebody? Nothing they are doing is working. And you hear about this nonsense, this tyranny a dictatorship. I told you Trump would have troops in the streets fighting against the citizens. You know, it conjures up a great scene if you're a Democrat that is against Donald Trump. But truth be told, if you look historically about, and you look into tyrannical leaders that have sent troops in to get control over the people, they usually send them into nice, peaceful villages, nice, peaceful people. That's what a tyrant does. Do you ever watch Waterworld? You ever watch The Postman? They go into these nice places where people are just trying to live their lives. If there's pandemonium going there, why go there? They don't want to get into a brawl. They just want to take over. And that's not what Trump's doing. He has a reason to go into these cities. Crime is rampant. It's part of America. He feels some responsibility to the country. And use law enforcement. Arrest these people. Let them know that they can't just wander the streets causing harm to people, and stealing, and whatever else they're doing.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Lifelong Democrat Diana Florence served for 25 years as a Manhattan prosecutor under DA Robert Morgenthau. She put criminals away, stood up for victims, and protected our streets. Now, Diana is challenging failed Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg as an independent because it's time for a DA who fights for our families, not criminals. That's why Diana has won the support of organized labor, like the steam fitters, plumbers, and ironworkers, everyday New Yorkers who want a DA they can trust. Manhattan needs a DA who will do the job, prosecute crime. That's Diana Florence. Under Alvin Bragg, crime is up and prosecutions are down. Bragg doesn't prosecute crime. He plays partisan politics. Bragg failed to protect women and failed to protect workers. As a prosecutor, Diana Florence won groundbreaking convictions, fighting against corruption, domestic violence, wage left, and daily working conditions. She's always been a partner of unions, community groups, and to cops like us. For Manhattan District Attorney, vote for Diana Florence. Diana4DA.com. Paid for by Diana for Manhattan DA.
But the people see it. You know, these politicians, they're Democrats. They don't want Trump to look good. It's the worst possible thing that could happen is if Trump looks good. And what he did in D.C. seemed to be very effective. It cleaned up. It had to put a lot of these thugs in prison. You know, it doesn't take a lot of people to cause chaos. You put these people in jail, and they're not out there causing problems. And there's another subset of those people that see that happening and don't want it happening to them, so they start behaving a bit. And that's what we saw in D.C. The citizens of D.C., the law-abiding citizens that just want to enjoy the amazing architecture and monuments of Washington, D.C., they finally were able to go out at night and grab dinner and walk around and not worry about getting violently assaulted, if not killed. So what's the problem with doing that in cities like Chicago, where they can't take care of themselves? Memphis, Trump's talking about Memphis, sending people into Memphis. I think he already might have sent some troops into Memphis. That's another city that is just out of control. Out of control. And we watch the videos and we go, why isn't anyone doing anything? And then Trump tries to do something and they say, no. We got this. You got it all right. You know, you got violent crime on a nightly basis. Murders, rapes, robberies, assaults, arson. It's all happening. And they don't want to do a damn thing about it. They have these programs that were funded during the Biden administration and others by federal funding. That's me and you, by the way. That's us. Whenever they say federal funding, even state funded, that's us. The money doesn't just come out of thin air. And how happy are you to pay for these millions upon millions of dollars for these programs that have proved to do absolutely nothing? They're still mopping up bodies every week. And the money just kept pouring in for useless programs. And now they talk about how much it costs. Do you know what the cost is to send the National Guard into a city? I assume it's probably either less than or equal to the federal funding going to these useless programs. And if it's more than that, so be it. I don't think you'd find a lot of taxpayers that are up in arms about the U.S. military being used to actually make the U.S. safer. When Trump put them on the border because of the invasion that was going on with Joe Biden, I don't think a lot of U.S. citizens were upset with that. Instead of sending them overseas to fight some foreign war or to stand around until they get bombed, so the U.S. has reason to start another war. I think the idea of protecting the United States, using our National Guard to guard the nation, is something that the citizens really aren't opposed to. And you see this. A lot of people are going into these cities and asking the citizens, do you want Donald Trump to do something about crime in your communities? And overwhelmingly, you hear yes. The only people you're really hearing no from are politicians, Democrat politicians, and community activists who have a financial stake in their communities remaining violent shitholes. So who would you rather listen to? The citizens actually living in these violent cities, violent Dem-run cities, or the politicians that make out financially and power-wise and every other way they win if they keep their communities violent with crime? So you got to ask why? Why this aversion to getting crime down in these communities? Well, the only way Democrat politicians operate, the only way they're needed by anyone, is if you are a victim. They need victims because around election time is when they come out and they start paying attention again to the communities and the minorities in these cities that they run. And every election they sprinkle out the fish food. You know, you ever feed your fish and you sprinkle it on top and the fish all come up? That's what they do. Every election. And then they just forget about them. The tank gets filthy. One fish is eating another. The temperature's off. They got fin ick. That's what they do. And then election time comes around. Maybe we'll clean the aquarium. We'll change the filter. And we'll feed them a little bit. That's what Democrats do. So they need them in this constant state of victimhood. Because if they weren't victims, then what the hell are the Democrats going to do for them? On the other side, you get conservatives and Republicans, and believe me, not all of them. There's a lot of rhinos out there. They seem more the party of setting the table for all Americans. That's another thing the Democrats do. They like chopping people up into groups. What have you done for Black America? Well, I did something for America. That should include everybody. If they play by the rules that were put in place for America, then what I did, setting the table so people can have jobs and they have freedoms to pursue their life and liberty and happiness. I don't have to cater to subgroups and communities and minorities. If you do what needs to be done for the country as a whole, everybody, then everyone will benefit if they are adhering to the rules of the land. And if you're not, then you're an outcast who wants Democrats to just cater to your separate group. So as far as the crime thing goes and Trump trying to do something about it, anything, that's really why they don't want anything done about it. And they'll never do anything about it in these cities. They need a frightened people. Frightened victims will always be looking around for someone to help them. And the Democrats have always been there as that person, but they don't help. They just keep the status quo of victimhood for these people. And the people are so run down and, stupid a lot of times, that they don't even realize they're being played every single time. And then when someone like Trump wants to really do something about it, the Democrats have to present it to the victims like that's a terrible thing because it'll work and it'll put me out of a job and you might not vote for me. So that's what we're seeing as far as the outrage at Trump's attempt to curtail some of this crime in these Dem shitholes. Thank you. Just whipping out a little free speech, a little knowledge on what's going on. And, of course, you can catch my program, 3 hours of it, every Sunday evening, 8 to 11 p.m. on WABC Radio. And, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you.
Thanks for listening to Whipping It Out with Anthony Cumia. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?